Hello, Good Shepherd and Saints Francis and St. John. I'm Deacon Mike Lynch with Good Shepherd Church. This week we prepare with the gospel message for the 15th Sunday in Ordinary Time. A reading from the Gospel according to Luke. There was a scholar of the law who stood up to test Jesus and said, "Teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" Jesus said to him, "What is written in the law? How do you read it?" He said in reply, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your being, with all your strength, and all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." He replied to him, "You have answered correctly. Do this, and you will live." But because he wished to justify himself, he said to Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" Jesus replied, "A man fell victim to robbers as he went down from Jerusalem to Jericho. They stripped and beat him and went off, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down that road, but when he saw him, he passed by on the opposite side. Likewise, a Levite came to the place, and when he saw him, he passed by on the opposite side. But a Samaritan traveler who came upon him was moved with compassion at the sight. He approached the victim, poured oil and wine over his wounds, and bandaged them. Then he lifted him up on his own animal, took him to an inn, and cared for him. The next day he took out 2 silver coins and gave them to the innkeeper with the instruction, 'Take care of him. If you spend more money than I have given you, I shall repay you on my way back.' Which of these 3, in your opinion, was neighbor to the robber's victim?" He answered, "The one who treated him with mercy." And Jesus said to him, "Go and do likewise." The message is simple, isn't it? In this well-known story of the Good Samaritan from Luke's Gospel, we are neighbors to all whom we meet in life. But the background and details of the story can be easily missed and tell us more of what's going on in Jesus' challenging parable. First of all, taking the road to Jericho was known in Jesus' time to be a risky trip. People could be attacked and killed on that road, as we hear in the parable. When a priest and a Levite, a man with important Jewish religious roles, came upon the half-dead man, they simply ignore him. They too are on a dangerous road, but aren't willing to help a fellow Jew in serious need. Did they think he should have known better than to take the road to Jericho alone? But to get the attention of the scholar of the law, and maybe even to shock him, Jesus says a Samaritan, in a class of people rejected and hated by Jews, did far better than the priest and the Levite toward the man, tending to his wounds, taking him to an inn, and caring for him, giving money to the innkeeper for the man's care, and promising to pay more if needed for the beaten man. When Jesus finishes his parable, the scholar of the law, who had himself said that inheriting eternal life depends on loving God and loving one's neighbor, can only acknowledge that the outcast Samaritan was the neighbor to the beaten man, not the priest, not the Levite. Our world is no less divided than it was in Jesus' time, and the lesson is no different. The status or identity of people in need whom we come across or know about never disqualifies them from our help. Go and do likewise. Here's a family activity to consider in light of this gospel story. Think of a person or a group in your school or your town or your parish that could use some compassion. Or perhaps choose a community that has recently suffered a natural disaster. With your family, plan one small way to play the Good Samaritan in relation to this person, group, or community. And be sure to follow through. God bless. See you at Mass.